I know life is hard, and most feel like giving up. Working your fingers to the bone and still see no results. It's like another problem comes for every problem.
Imagine waking up in the morning and finding out that you no longer have a job with no warning, no notification, no, not even knowing at all. What do you do?
You kind of sit back like, damn. Literally, you say, damn. And the crazy thing is, I've been through that.
That's right.
It's been some years, probably about 5 years ago. I went through a situation. Like I said, the company I work for, like looking back at it, it was a pretty shitty company, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna put their name or nothing out there, but it wasn't the best company. But you know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do to pay the bills or whatever. So anyway, make a long story short, I was contracted for the company that I work for another company. And I remember going to work, regular Thursday or Friday it might have been. This is around the holidays. It's right after Thanksgiving, be like first week of December. So
perfect time.
I done paid all my bills, rent paid, everything. Rest of my money tied up in Christmas gifts and all that type of stuff, right? So I go to work, and my supervisor, he was basically like the supervisor of the company that I was contracted to work for.
The company you worked for.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he was just like, man, he's like, it's been like, we gonna miss you here, man. Like, because I worked there for like 5 years. So I knew everybody, had a good relationship with everybody. He was like, man, we gonna miss you, man. We appreciate everything you done for us. And
wait, you were going into work your shift.
Yeah.
And he greets you saying this.
Yeah. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like,
It's gotta be a joke, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what? What's going on? He's like, yo, company didn't tell you today's your last day. I said, what? I said, nah. I said, I ain't heard nothing about that. What are you talking? Like, I'm looking at him like, and he's looking at me. He thinks I'm joking with him, and he's looking at me like, nah.
You don't know?
He's like, you for real? So,
oh my gosh.
He was like, so I was like, hold on, man. So I called the owner of the company. I had the number because it wasn't a big company, small company. Called the owner of the company that I work for. He didn't answer the phone. Then I text him. He finally called me back probably about an hour later. And he's just like, oh, man, I'm so sorry, man. Like, such and such was supposed to tell you, trying to point the blame to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, I'm like, bro, that's, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a super ill feeling because it's like, damn, y'all didn't even have the decency to let me know that.
Or to even check if everybody knew. I mean, it's kind of devastating, right? Like, not even just having to find another job and losing your job, but showing up the day of a shift and them saying, "Oh man, I am so man. I don't know about anybody else. Sorry,
but him not even. But my company that I work for not telling me at all. I wouldn't have knew. Period. If the supervisor at the company that I was contracted to didn't say anything
entire
to
shift,
me.
Not even working for the company anymore.
Yeah, I would have probably came in my next day that I was supposed to work that Monday and just thinking like I was supposed to work, So
wow,
it was cold, man. It was cold blooded, but man, I was fortunate. You know what I'm saying? Highly blessed that the company that I was contracted to work for, that same supervisor that told me like, man, we're gonna miss you. He was so pissed off that the company that I work for did me dirty like that. He like made some calls and they hired me directly to the company.
Wow.
So
man, shout out to him.
Man, he's a real one for that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I did, good work, like I said, and
you never missed, man. You were working, and I even remember you and I talking. Like, and the fact that you would, like, I'd see new things, like either new music videos or stuff. I'm like, where the hell do you get the time, bro?
Yeah.
Like, we're like 6, 7, sometimes, 12-hour shifts.
12 hours.
What, 7 to 7?
7 to 7
I spent a lot of time at your job, like, just stopping by if I was, like, out somewhere, like running around. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy, too, right? Because the devastation of that news, because you'd gotten comfortable.
Yep.
And we all do. It's
comfortable.
And, like, at what point... That was life-changing, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure at that point, and then the fact that all this has happened really kind of just lines you up for everything that's been happening since.
I was about to say, actually, it was a blessing in disguise. You know what I'm saying? But it was kind of like, at first, it was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
messed up, man.
Didn't know what I was gonna do, and that was the second time, the first out of 2 times that I had to realize, man, like, yo, I can't be bullshitting, like. Putting all your eggs in one basket is a very very dangerous game to play. And I remember during the pandemic, which a lot of people had this experience, you know what I'm saying? We didn't know what was going to happen with that whole coronavirus stuff. It was like
Nobody did.
The whole world shut down. So we didn't know. I didn't know about, you know, getting unemployment, and nobody knew. Everybody was kind of just in limbo, like, damn. Like, I remember getting sent home from my job and just thinking to myself, like, damn, how am I going to pay bills? How am I going to take care of my family? You know what I'm saying?
Everybody got excited and said, well, if we can't make money, how are we going to pay? But we're just not going to pay. I'm going on. It's probably not going to work either.
Yeah.
Someone wants their money.
Yeah. So, but that made me kind of turn up. It made me think in my mind. You remember, it was like a button that clicked in my head. Like, look, man, I can't. And I ain't gonna say I never really put all my eggs in one basket ever, really. But a large amount of eggs was in one basket. You know what I'm saying?
Shook some of those eggs into other baskets, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, like, because I know my parents, and I'm sure yours as well. It's like what we always never put all your eggs in one basket. And I would just go, you know, and you used to be able to do it like to a certain extent because there was careers, there was jobs, you know, the market for, you know, just for instance, and, you know, to me, I didn't really ever see this happening with the retail, but the story of somebody that we know personally, like, I'm just like, what? And he'd been there for 5 years, basically said, hey, get on a Zoom call with us in the morning. It's like 8, whatever. And like within 30 minutes, they had like everything shut off. Cell phone, internet, gas cards. They said, do not drive the vehicle anymore. They're going to come pick it up. I think they had somebody come pick it up that day. They shut his entire life off and around in one day. And of course, the great thing is like the guy is dedicated, man. Like, reminds me a lot of my daughter. You know, I had no doubt bouncing back, but it's the fact that you're not even in the game. Then all of a sudden you're having to bounce back from something. You know, the same thing with you. It's like fight or flight mode, man. It's like, wait a second, we may not have a job because you start thinking about your daughter, you think about your rent, you think about how everything's going to alter, not just in your life. Most men, I could lose my home. It'll suck, but I can figure it out.
Right.
It's not me I'll worry about. It's the mental state of my daughter or the mental state of my wife or my girl, like whoever. You know, me, man, I've been, and you too, man, been through some really dark roads. And it's because we got comfortable thinking, you know, life's not perfect, but it's going to be like this for a while. And then boom.
Yep. You can't get too comfortable. You got to hustle. You got to grind. Even when things are good, you got to always prepare for things to get worse. You know what I'm saying?
The game of life never stops.
Never stops. You know,
it starts the day you're born and ends the day you die.
And the you know, the more bags you have your hands into, the better. You know what I'm saying? The more because if one goes out bad, because if you got everything all, like say you work a job or you got a career, and you know, as we know, the world is changing slowly. It's 2025. A lot of jobs and careers that were once very lucrative and very secure are not as secure no more. No. You know what I'm saying? We see it all across the world. So it's just like, man, you gotta. That's why even with this podcast, content creating. Now, we didn't create this podcast to be very lucrative. Now, if it happens, it happens. That's a blessing. But you want to give yourself a chance. You don't just waking up and going to a job every day. You're basically putting yourself at risk to happen. What happened to me and what happened to the guy you just was talking about, like, because they have the power.
250 people that got fired the same day.
Yeah, they got the control. They got control, and it's nothing you can do. Like, yeah, you might get a little bit of unemployment, but let's be real. Unemployment is what, 60% or something like that, what you make, something like that. It's
Nobody
not enough.
lives at 60% of the means.
Not enough.
No.
It's barely enough what we make, you know,
to survive.
Yep. You know, and that's people working full time, overtime, 12-hour shifts. As you knew, that's what I was working. It's barely enough.
God, you were putting it like 60 something. I just remember going, that sucks.
And like you said, still doing the music, shooting the videos, still, you know, grinding. But you know, it is what it is, man. It's men, like you said, we gotta make it happen.
But it's almost like when we become not so comfortable, our mentality changes, right? But it's almost like I never really get on green mode to where I'm just like, you know what, man, everything's going to be. No, it's either orange or red, because I'm always thinking that something can fall out. If it can happen that quick, I have to respond that quick.
Yep.
You know, if something comes in, I don't know, if I break a leg, it'd be really hard for me to video a wedding. Right? So it's like the mentality of getting comfortable. I'm so uncomfortable with not being comfortable that I'm okay with it.
And it's actually a good thing.
I think so.
It's a good thing.
Mentally, I know it's good.
Yeah.
No.
It keeps you sharp. You know, you got to stay sharp.
Yeah.
Because like you said, what can happen usually will happen. Like you said, always be prepared for the worst.
Right.
Because if you just play it, you know, playing it safe is not a safe way to play.
And you know, you're right, and that's like where you and I talk about the multiple streams of income. It's not about making a whole lot of money, right? It's about not making enough to live every week from one job.
Yeah, trying to get out of that check to check cycle that most of us have been in.
Right. And it doesn't have to be this large, I need to be making, man, if you're making 50 here a month or a week, if you're making 100 here, 200, at what point, I mean, if I could have 10 streams of income making $100 a month, I would be extremely happy.
Oh, man. It all adds
on
up.
On top of the regular job, right?
Yeah. And you can't be too prideful. It's too many people. It doesn't seem like to you, is it just me, that a lot of people are just so prideful. Man, you would be somebody that don't have no income talking about what they won't do. It's like,
I ain't flipping burgers. Bro, you're broke. What do you mean you ain't flipping burgers?
Better flip something.
Better flip one and get one in your mouth. You know, but I'll tell you, and I get it, like, you know, because I'm kind of that way too, right? Like with my own business, is me taking on another job to help kind of supplement. I just feel like, dude, I'm sucking so much time out of it. So it's not like I don't get it, but like at what point, man, you got to do what you got to do. We were talking about sacrifices, right? And some of the sacrifices, at least that I've made. If you ask anybody, I used to smoke. I smoked for, oh, good Lord, I don't know if it was a better part of 20 years or maybe like a little less. I mean, smoked.
I know.
Yeah, you know. My father, my uncle, basically just about all of them had passed away from smoking. My mom, I think all that had something to do, with their health, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember I was spending, this is embarrassing to say, like when I think about it now, it is by far absolutely just embarrassing. I was spending $8 a day killing myself.
Yeah.
$8, like it's bad enough like I'm killing myself, right? But then I'm spending 8 times 10, well, that's 80, so it's a little over a week, 365 days. I started doing the math and I went, nah, we're not doing this.
It's a lot of money going down. Like you said, not even just going down the drain, but basically going into hurting yourself health-wise, you know.
And it's bad, man. Like it was bad. I know, especially over the couple of years with the loss of my parents, like it just increasingly got worse, like the smoking. So that was one, and alcohol was another one. I was spending roughly, it's like $35 a day in alcohol.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, maybe a little less, a little more, depending on kind of what day I was having. But so 8, 30, 40, 10, I don't know. A little over a week spending $500.
That's a lot of bread, bro.
That's no bills.
Yeah.
That's entertainment purposes only.
And a lot of times, we a lot of us complain and we talk about, damn, man, I'm broke. I don't got no money. And it's not that, some people are broke, but most people ain't broke. It's just the fact that it's money mismanagement. Yeah. And like you said, you don't want to own up and say, well, damn, you know what? Because I know I was eating like fast food pretty much every day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
pandemic did that to a lot of people.
And again, that's something that's, working against me, you know what I'm saying, hurting my health and hurting my pocket. So that's a double loss. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's almost like the double whammy, right? Because it's like we're killing ourselves and other people are profiting and we're going broke. And we always complain, but like you said, sometimes it be those small things that we cut back on. Say, if you smoke, that's cool. If you don't want to quit smoking, that's cool, but try to smoke less. If you drink, try to drink a little less. If you like to eat out a lot, cut back, and then you'll see like, damn, that's a little bit more money that I got in my pocket, and that money, you can use that money to invest. To people ask us all the time, like, man, like how'd y'all start the podcast? And
Shine just told you he made some changes, some lifestyle changes. I made some lifestyle changes, and we just kind of came together and said, you know, it might have seemed like, well, that's a lot, man. That's a lot of money to buy all that equipment, to buy
It
that.
did not come this is years of me.
Years in the making.
And even you and I've been, this is over a year. We're only a couple months in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So again, like you said, it's the deep sacrifice. And I'll be honest with you, I could not have afforded to do this extra on top of everything else, on top of living the life, having a home, having electricity and cable. There's no way I would have been able to do this smoking and drink. There's no way.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Done it,
Sacrifice,
bro.
man. You got to make sacrifices. You know, any championship team, not to go, y'all know, y'all probably be like, man, Doe always venturing off to sports. But
He loves the sports,
I
bro.
love my sports, man, and there's life lessons to learn out of sports. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wins solo, you know, like even the solo sports, you know, when you see golfers and man, they got trainers, they got people that's behind the scenes that help them make sure they're conditioned, make sure they have the stamina to do what they do. So it's always a team effort, man.
And I think this was hard, right, for entrepreneurs, people who are doing it, because until you came along, even we were friends, man, the video business, like it not only sucked because it was hard, because there's things like that I would want to do with somebody else, right? Like going and shooting a wedding by yourself all day, being around a bunch of people you don't know. I mean, it's all right because I enjoy myself. I've never met a stranger. I can walk into a room and leave me alone for 5 minutes. You'd be like, there he is, man. I told you you're going to stack up with 3 or 4 people. I just love to meet people. But like doing weddings all day, like it'd be nice to have like somebody. But I kept thinking, why is it so weird for me to be doing something I love and enjoy so much? And I don't know one other person that would love to do it with me.
Right.
You know,
right.
And again, like you and I were on separate paths on doing different things, right? You never thought about spending, you know, the money you spent on your camera, on the lens, on everything else. I don't think you imagined that a couple of years ago when you met me.
No, definitely not.
No. So, like you said, it's the small sacrifices. What's the stuff you gave up for your camera?
Like I said, cut back on a lot of stuff. You know, like I said, one was the eating out all the time, fast food, you know what I'm saying? Because again, for one, I'm trying to get my health right. And then for two, I'm like, damn, I need more money in my pocket, you know? And like I said, I had to really just do some self-examination and just say, damn, you know what? I would have more money if I made these certain changes, you know? So
What do they call that? Accountability?
Yeah, you
just
got to take
holding
accountability.
yourself.
Yeah.
Just holding yourself accountable.
And it's also, you know, that financial stability. That's what we all are chasing. You know, I think most Americans are financially unstable. I think I read something saying, I could be wrong, but it said, I think like it was a high number, like 70% or 75% of Americans don't even have $5,000 for like an emergency fund. Like if something.
Most of them probably only have 1,500.
Yeah, it's tough out here, man. It's rough. So we got to just make sure, you know, because anything can happen. And like I said, I'm living proof. You're living proof. We both have been through stuff where it's just something that happened out of nowhere, and you be like, damn. And if you just been, you know, partying, you know,
just doing whatever,
doing whatever, and then when something happens when you really need money, then you gotta beg people, you got to ask people, you got to become a burden, set up a GoFundMe, you know? So it's like, man, we got to just be more responsible.
Well, and you know, that's a terrible feeling, you know, being at somebody else's mercy. And, you know, I think anybody can do it. And so this is what I want to give as a bonus tip, but I haven't even told you.
Okay.
So doing the multiple streams of income, doesn't matter what you do, right? People start online T-shirt companies. They don't have to have T-shirts or printing machines. People can, I mean, at this point with AI, you know, it's doing kind of ridiculous. With the AI, I got into my brother who has moved into coding. He was a preacher for, can't remember how many years, 24, 25, 26. I'm sure I'm incorrect. But a long time. And decided to get in. And when he spoke about coding, from what I knew about coding, it's like a geek language, like a complete, like you have to be something special to understand coding. And it's still true because it is so far out there. But I remember, and I know he's busy with work and he's trying to still learn and go through the college. And I thought, man, I could really benefit from that knowledge, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time to get into that stream of income, right? I don't have, you know, AI agents and bots. People are making significant money from doing this, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of want a piece, but I don't have time. AI is making it easier for you to make time. In the last 48 hours, I've learned a program, common language, coding language, that I can implement and use all from AI. I started Googling, like, hey, how can I do this? How can I do that? If you don't think you can start any kind of business right now, open ChatGPT, there's tons of free. DeepSeek, there's tons. If you guys want to know, if you guys comment below and was like, give me some, I'll give you a list of the ones that I personally use. But I'm telling you, you can learn something you know nothing about in a very short amount of time. And that's where the multiple streams of income, right?
Yep.
It's like, well, I need more education. No, you don't. Sit down in front of your computer, in front of your cell phone. You have all the access that you already have access to everything.
Everything.
Your life is waiting. People are like, no, it's all a big game. No, none of this is a game. There has never been an easier way to make money than right now. Yeah, times are hard, things are expensive, but I'm telling you personally, there is no easier time to get out, learn something, and make money than there is right now. That's with the unemployment rate being down.
And stop putting I can't do it. You putting it in your head.
Won't.
You remember that one of my favorite movies, Love and Basketball, is a scene, and the kid is like, he's in there, the kid version of the character, the basketball player, his mom and dad, they in the kitchen, and he's like, shit. He's like, I can't do this shit. And then the mom looks at the dad like, you gonna say something to him? And he's like, son, he's like, what did I tell you? And then you think he's gonna get on him about saying shit, you know what I'm saying? But he said, then the son repeats, a man shouldn't use the word can't in his vocabulary. He ain't even mad that he's a kid and says shit. He's mad that he said can't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's real, man, because, you know, you speak things into existence, and when you keep saying, I can't, then yeah, you can't, because you don't even believe you can. So you got to, believe in yourself. And like you said, right now, man, it's so much information available. Just a simple Google.
Get it.
Like you said, YouTube University, Google. Now you got AI that goes even in more depth than Google does. So it's just like, if you want to learn something, you want to do something, just do it. Get out here and try it. And like I always say, man, I'd rather fail trying than to not try at all. Just sit back and just have my faith in another man's hands. Because that's basically what you're doing when you go into these companies and you're working for these companies. At any given time, like I said, I'm living proof. They can hit you up and say, or not hit you up and just be like, your job is gone. It's over.
Tell you were fired. Well, yeah, you just can be right. Get out and get it. Like, now's the time. And we'll iterate. But here's my biggest word of advice. And I heard this from somewhere. Get comfortable.
Being uncomfortable.
That's it, man. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. No life's going to be hard. If today's good, there's a really good possibility tomorrow's going to be rough.
That's a fact.
And just be prepared for it. Don't be mad that it's happening.
Yeah, and the more uncomfortable you are, the more comfortable you will get. When you just comfortable, it don't do nothing for you. You got to challenge yourself. Life's a challenge. Like they say, when you're alive, but you're not really living. When you're being challenged, and that's whatever it is. Like when I do my music, when I'm writing raps, I like to challenge myself. I want to do songs that I've never done before. Change up the flow patterns. Use my vocabulary. There's certain songs where I'm like, man, I'm not even gonna cuss on this song. Just is whatever challenges it may be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's with anything. That's with exercising. That's with eating. Anything, video editing. When you edit videos, I'm sure you can have a certain go-to that you'd like, okay, this is gonna look good. I know people are gonna like it. But then you like, man, I want to set the bar. I want to go higher. I want to do something different this time around. Challenge myself. I know this for a fact. One time, quick short story, side note, when I was working that job that did me wrong, that I was talking about earlier, I remember after working a 12-hour shift, this crazy dude right here, Shine, hits me up middle of the morning.
Yeah,
he
pick your friends better.
Hey, bruh, he was learning a certain style of video shot, and he was like, he felt like he could execute it, but he was like, man, I need somebody to try to, do it with. He's like, you down? I'm like, shit, man, I just got to do work in this. I'm like, why not, bro? Let's do it. So we out shooting in the middle of the morning. I'm in my work clothes. There's some stuff y'all never probably see, you know, but it just,
I think I have that somewhere. If I do, I'll actually post it.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
So you know, just the fact that, but also get around people that believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe in this dude. This dude believes in me, but he's willing to learn and to be better. Like, yeah, he could shoot a basic video, and your average person to say, man, that's good work. But this dude right here, man, he's hard on himself. I've seen stuff that y'all probably won't see, and I be telling him, I'm like, bro, you need to put that out. And he's so hard on himself because he just wants to be better, and that's a key element in life, man. If you want to be better, you gotta want to be better. Like, you can't
even better than yourself at this very moment.
Yeah, you can't just talk about it. You got to put in that work, and you know, like I said, man, you might everybody's ceiling is different. That's true.
Yeah,
but try to reach your ceiling.
Well, and you know, at what point is like, where are the limits? You could be limitless if you allow yourself to be in that uncomfortable like position, right? Because you don't really have any ceilings. You don't really have anything because you're prepared for everything.
That's it.
You know, so at the end of the day, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Keep grinding, keep pushing, and never put all your eggs in one basket.
Wipe your pants off. Learn to smile through the pain and laugh your ass off. Trouble don't last always, it's two will pass along. Another day above ground to rewrite your wrong. Reflecting on the transformation life has undergone. No matter what you find, to strengthen you to